Co-Pilot Podcasts. You know what's worse than Manila traffic? A trillion-peso flood control scandal that's actually flooding the news instead of controlling actual floods.
Oh, you mean the scandal that's making actual floods look like a minor inconvenience?
Today, we're diving into the perfect storm of Philippine chaos, from ghost projects to Christmas gridlock and protests that are becoming the new national sport.
And don't forget the South China Sea drama. It's like a geopolitical telenovela out there.
Let's start with this flood control scandal. I mean, when your anti-corruption official has to brag about your anti-corruption efforts in Qatar...
Yeah, that's like telling your neighbors how clean your house is while your basement's flooding with corruption charges.
The numbers are staggering. We're talking about 42 to 118 billion pesos lost annually since 2023.
And get this, out of 10,075 projects inspected, 472 were confirmed to be non-existent. Like, how do you lose 472 infrastructure projects?
It's like playing Where's Waldo, but with billion-peso projects. And speaking of things that are hard to find, how about parking spaces during Christmas?
Oh, don't get me started. EDSA is now handling 450,000 vehicles daily. That's almost double its 250,000 capacity.
And the MMDA's solution? Just asking people nicely not to have mall-wide sales. Because that'll work.
Right? It's like asking kids not to get excited about Christmas. But hey, at least we're getting creative with our protests.
Speaking of protests, 500,000 people showed up in Manila recently. That's more people than some shopping malls during a sale.
And it's not just regular folks. Even the Iglesia ni Cristo, who supported Marcos in 2022, is now demanding transparency.
Talk about a plot twist. But wait till you hear about what's happening in the South China Sea.
Ah, yes, where China's using water cannons like they're hosting a summer pool party. Except it's not fun and games for Filipino fishermen.
3 fishermen were injured, and China's response was basically, they started it.
Classic playground defense. Meanwhile, the economy's taking hits from all these scandals.
The BSP just cut interest rates to 4.5%, and Governor Remolona called the governance issues painful.
When your central bank governor starts using words like painful, you know things are getting serious.
And the economy grew only 4% in the third quarter, the lowest since the pandemic.
Well, when your infrastructure spending hits a 14-year low because of corruption investigations, that tends to happen.
But hey, at least we're getting creative with our problems. I mean, who needs infrastructure when you have memes?
Speaking of memes, did you see that AI-generated protest image that went viral?
Oh yeah, even our fake protests are getting technological upgrades.
But seriously, these issues are affecting real people. The flood control scandal isn't just about missing money.
Right, it's about communities that flood every time it rains because the infrastructure they were promised doesn't exist.
And the traffic isn't just an inconvenience, it's affecting the economy, people's mental health, family time.
The MMDA recorded 43 incidents in just 5 hours last Friday. That's like a traffic accident every 7 minutes.
And remember, this is happening while we're trying to deal with international tensions in the South China Sea.
Which brings us back to those water cannon incidents. The US has already stepped in to defend the Philippines.
Because nothing says regional stability like superpowers getting involved in a maritime dispute.
And all this while the BSP is trying to keep the economy afloat with rate cuts.
They're basically trying to put out a fire while the house is still under construction and there's a flood in the basement.
And don't forget the protests, they're getting more creative with their demands.
Yeah, when religious groups start joining anti-corruption rallies, you know, something's shifted in the public consciousness.
The cardinal even called political dynasties a malignant form of cancer in the country.
That's some pretty strong language from a church leader.
But it seems to be resonating. I mean, 500,000 protesters don't show up for nothing.
And these aren't just Manila protests, they're happening across the country.
Even in Cebu, they're throwing rotten tomatoes at government offices. Talk about fresh produce being put to use.
Well, when 9 out of 10 flood control projects show irregularities, people tend to get creative with their protests.
And speaking of creativity, the traffic solutions are getting interesting.
Ah, yes, the please don't have sales during Christmas strategy. Because retail therapy isn't a thing.
Meanwhile, the number of vehicles in Metro Manila jumped from 3.2 million to 3.6 million in just 2 years.
That's like adding a whole new city's worth of cars to already congested streets.
And the MMDA's response? Please use public transport, because that's working so well.
At least they're extending MRT and LRT operating hours. Small victories, right?
Speaking of small victories, the BSP is hoping their rate cuts will help. but it might take 2 years to feel the effects.
2 years? That's like waiting for traffic to clear on EDSA during rush hour.
But at least we're getting some entertainment value out of all this chaos.
True. Between the protests, the traffic, and the international drama, who needs Netflix?
And let's not forget the flood control projects that are actually working. All 3 of them.
Hey, that's 3 more than some people expected.
So what's the takeaway from all this Philippine chaos?
Well, when your flood control projects are causing more waves than actual floods, you might have a problem.
And when your traffic solutions involve begging malls not to have sales during Christmas,
You might need to rethink your strategy.
but hey, at least the protests are getting more creative. Who knew Rotten Tomatoes could be so politically expressive?
And the South China Sea situation is keeping international relations interesting.
While the BSP tries to patch up the economy with rate cuts, that'll take 2 years to work.
By which time we'll probably have a whole new set of scandals to deal with.
But that's the Philippines for you, where every crisis comes with a side of comedy.
And every solution seems to create 3 new problems.
Well, that's all for today's episode of Copilot Podcasts. Remember, if you're stuck in traffic, at least you have time to join a protest.
Just watch out for the water cannons, whether they're from China or the local authorities.
And maybe invest in a boat. You never know when those ghost flood control projects might come back to haunt us.